Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. This week's episode is going to be about my experience using eBay and PayPal. This story starts a few months ago when I decided I had too many items, photographic items I did not use, so I decided to sell them on eBay using PayPal. And this story starts very simply. I already had an eBay account, a PayPal account. I used it as a buyer a lot. They were in existence for like 10 years. And I just uploaded about 10 items to eBay to sell them. I sold 4 of them. But the last one, I didn't sold it anymore. I refunded the buyer immediately because I was already having a lot of issues with eBay and PayPal, and I was already not very pleased with all the experience. So I sent him a message, I apologized, gave him a full refund, and that was the end of the 4th item. The other 3 were item 1, a prism, item 2, a camera, and item 2, a lens. So the first item I sold ever on eBay was a prism, and everything went wonderfully. The person bid, they won the auction, they paid, I shipped the item, they received it, everything was fine, great experience, and it motivated me a lot more to sell on eBay. So, item number 2. Item number 2 was a lens. It was a very old lens that I had laying around at home. I didn't use it very much, so I decided to sell it. It was a lens that was in a very good condition. It had a dent on the filter's ring that was very well described on the description of the item, and there were 2 specific pictures on this listing that specifically targeted the dent. Besides that, the body of the lens had no general scratch. The glass was in very good condition. There was no scratches, no fungus, no humidity on the lens, on the glass. There was no oil on the blades, so it was not mint, but it was in a very good condition. And the only problem that it had was very well described with pictures and text. So the person, there was a bid, there were 2 people bidding on this lens. Someone outbid the other one, and what happened was immediately after winning the bid, the person sent me a message and said, can you please make this the shipping costs cheaper, because we are both in Europe and I don't think the costs are so expensive. I was charging $20 for the shipping, and I said, sorry, no, I cannot make it cheaper. First of all, because you participated on a bid, you knew the costs of the shipping. So now making you a discount on the shipping costs would actually set you to pay less money than the person that you outbid. The second reason is that I actually lose money shipping outside of Europe. Not much, like $3 or $4, but that's okay. In this case, I will not win much money out of the shipping costs. Maybe I could reduce it like $1 or even $2, but I don't think that makes any sense in this case. So I declined his request. He didn't answer, so I shipped the lens with the tracking number, very well packaged and fairly fast. After like 10 days, you already had the lens. I could see it on the tracking, using the tracking number. And 4 days after receiving the lens, he opened the case against me, claiming that the lens had fungus and humidity. I was astonished with this because there were so many pictures on the ad that showed that the lens had no fungus or humidity, and I had so many raw files that I had photographed that I could use as proof that the lens had no problems, as he was claiming. Anyway, I said, can you please provide photographic evidence of what you're claiming? And he did so. Very low resolution JPEGs, obviously they had to be JPEGs, but very low resolution. And I immediately said, yeah, dude, I'm not going to make much out of this conversation. I'm not going to accept a refund because what you're providing, it's not the lens I have shipped. And I opened the case against him, and I stated all my reasoning, why this person was not telling the truth on the case that they had opened against me. And yeah, I decided to let eBay intervene. When I opened the case against him, then he started to say, okay, can you refund me like 30 or 40 US dollars? And I said, no, I'm not going to refund you absolutely anything, because what you're doing, it's trying to corner a seller into giving you money, and I'm not going to accept this as a fair attitude of a buyer. And then something happened, which I think it's really nasty of eBay that does this. I'm pretty sure they do it on purpose. It's not something out of that they don't know that it happens this way. I'm pretty sure they do it they do it on purpose. Which is, every time you have to reply to a message, on these cases, as a seller, you have to select out of a few options what is the attitude you want to do, which is like send the buyers a message or accept a refund, and there are a few other options. And at some point, by mistake, I accepted the refund, a full refund. And then he immediately started to say, yeah, but you gave me a full refund, but I'm not going to ship it back because I'm not going to pay to ship the item back. And I said, okay, dude, I'm over with this conversation. I opened the case against you. I will let the case run. Now I have accepted your refund, and you have 2 weeks time to ship it back to me. We are both in Europe, so there's no legal problems into reaching to you. I have all your detailed information. If in 2 weeks time I don't have your I don't have the lens back with me, I will go to the police and press charges straight against you. So, and I cut the conversation with the guy. But in these 2 weeks time, eBay actually intervened and decided that this person could receive 30 US dollars, but I wouldn't pay for it. I think eBay actually paid for it. And I would keep all the money I made on the bid. On one side, I think this is fair, because I know I sold something in a good condition. On the other side, I think that this is not fair, because it actually compensates someone with a very nasty attitude toward this platform. Obviously, this demands some trust. People have to trust that the buyer are selling something as it's defined in the advertisement, and the sellers have to trust that the buyers are actually keeping the promise of paying and then receiving the article and not lying about the condition. At the end, this rests on the shoulders of eBay. And I think eBay is not doing a good, is not having a good attitude towards, very specifically towards against the buyers, against the sellers, because you have to evaluate the situations and you have to be fair about all the situations and not compensate someone with a nasty attitude. I will say at the end, maybe they couldn't realize who actually was lying or trying to take advantage of the system, and they had to choose an even solution for this case. So, and this brings us to item number 3. Item number 3 was a camera. I sold it to the US, and initially everything went very smoothly. The person bid was the only bidder. The person paid, I shipped with the standard international shipping with tracking number, and after about 2 weeks of shipping the camera, the guy just opened the case against me and claimed that I had stolen his money, I hadn't sent the package. And this totally baffled me, because I had provided the tracking number. So it was very easy for me to disprove this claim. So I answered him, do you understand that I have a tracking number and I have provided it? You just need to copy it or write it down, go to the website or go to the post service and ask where your package is. The guy didn't reply to me, so I waited 5 days, which I legally had to do it, and then I opened the case against him. I explained all this on my case to eBay. And he immediately started engaged in a conversation with me now that I had opened the case against him. And what happened was, I'm not sure even what happened. He started to say, yeah, but the camera should already be here. And I said, no, it shouldn't. I'm sending it from Europe. 2 weeks time, it's still even not enough time for it to arrive in the US. These things take time. It was just sent as a standard international shipping. And if you have any doubt, copy the number, go to the post service and ask where it is, and you can be reassured that there is a package going to you. So the things stay there. There was no more conversation in between us. eBay didn't intervene. And this time frame that the camera should have arrived, it didn't arrive. I know that because I can go to the USPS website, I can insert the tracking number, and it still says today, and I'm recording this already 1 week after the time frame had expired, and it still says this package is on transit. I understand that he should have received it already, but it's also not my fault. So what eBay did, it did not even talk to me. They immediately issued a refund to this guy, and they don't even give me the opportunity to contest this resolution. So at this moment I have no camera and I have no money, and there is still the possibility, this guy already has his money, and there's still the possibility that he gets the camera, because the camera shows on USPS website that is on transit. Maybe he didn't pick it up. I don't know how it works in the US, and it's just sitting at the post office. Maybe they will send it back to you, to me, and maybe I will get it in the future. So it makes me lose the money of shipping, but anyway, I still get the camera back. But there's also the possibility that he gets the camera and the money, and I cannot do anything about it because eBay doesn't allow me to contest this resolution. So anyway, in the future, I will keep you posted about what comes in relation to this case, in case of any of you are interested on what comes then to an end. So this brings us to PayPal, the PayPal attitude within all these problems, because PayPal doesn't really care of what happens in eBay. If someone opens a case against you, then they also open a case against you. Which kind of makes sense, but then when eBay decides something, they don't really care about you. And I'm referring to the first problem I had on eBay. So they continue with the process like a second police, and they also want to have a word on this case, which makes some sense. But if someone is already taking care of the situation, why does a second policeman has to come and confirm the whole situation? And what they did was something kind of strange for me, because I don't know how they can maintain the security of the platform by confirming my identification. Especially, they want to confirm my ID by having a copy of my ID card or my passport. And there's some issues with this. First of all, I'm Portuguese, and in Portugal it is totally forbidden for anyone to request a copy of your ID. This is forbidden. You can be brought to court and you will pay a fine. There is a standard. And I called I called PayPal, I told them that, and they were like, we don't care. You have to provide us a copy. And I said, okay, fair enough. I'll go to the police and report this situation, which is an illegal situation according to the Portuguese standards. And they said, okay, fair enough, you can go. I refused, I declined, because, and this is the main reason, American companies have been involved again and again in situations where they have breach of security and the documents and personal information of people have been lost into the people that then do very strange and criminal activities with this information. Not only that, American companies do also sell your information. And I don't really care if someone sells my email address, that's not a problem. I will just send everything to the spam. About political issues, I'm also not really, I don't care about the political issues like Facebook was involved, because I have an own mind, and it doesn't matter just how am I target on the social media about political advertisement. I can make my own decisions by reading and keeping myself informed and reading a lot of sources to see if I'm not getting manipulated just by one specific source. But another issue is when a company then sells or loses a copy of my passport. That is very, very dramatic for me. So I said, I don't provide any copy of my passport or ID. And they just blocked my account and they're going to delete it. I had roughly about 200 euros in my account. Everything is frozen. And they said, now we will keep it for 6 months, and after 6 months we'll evaluate the situation again and we'll decide if we give you back the money, and this is only to protect us. I don't really understand how they will protect themselves by keeping my money for 6 months. I even less understand how the system would be working well if I provided a copy of my ID. This doesn't make any kind of sense, because my PayPal account is associated with the bank account, and the bank account has all the information required by the Portuguese law to be open. So they have my address, they have my ID information, they know everything about me. And PayPal, if they actually have a problem, a legal problem with me, they have the means of going to the police, report the situation, and through my bank account coming in contact with me. So PayPal cannot and should not, under no circumstance, ask for this kind of details. Again, this is kind of unfair, because one of the situations was solved in my favor, and the other situation, it's still not solved. I don't know exactly what the outcome of this situation will be, but I strongly believe that at the very minimum, I'm right. I cannot control if the USPS lost the package. I can prove at least that I sent the package. I cannot do anything more than bring it to the post, leave it there, and expect that all the companies that are intervening in this situation do their part. But there's a problem with this when eBay always takes the stand with the buyers, because when you have two parts of a business and you always stand with the buyer, then half of the population on this platform will understand that they can always complain, and in the worst situation, you just don't get a refund. In the best situation, in the best scenario, you get your item, you complain, and get a refund or a partial refund. So something that you paid, it gets cheaper or it gets for free. And this actually is very damaging for the platform, because when I brought this to the social media, many sellers were like, yeah, welcome to eBay. This just comes with being a seller on eBay. You have to be aware of these things. And I was like a little bit astonished, because actually this is nothing so uncommon to happen on eBay. It's actually something very often. It happens to many people. And my advice, I will stop using eBay, and I will stop also using PayPal. I have moved my latest, the things I have bought more recently on the internet. I have bought them from Amazon, and that's what I recommend. If you're not happy with the platform you're using, just ditch them and move to another platform. If you don't do this, they will keep on smashing you and everyone in the process, because they don't care about this. At the end of the month, at the end of the year, the CEO gets billions. They are some of the richest people on this planet, and they don't care. And the system will not be fair as long as they don't feel it on their pockets. And this comes in the form of users ditching the platform. So guys, that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, please consider giving it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing and activating the notifications bell in order to receive a notification every time we upload new content on this channel. And until the next episode, guys.